All right, you got to relax. You got to chill out. You got to take a load off. You got to just learn to just let things go. Forget about it. You heard all these things when it comes to stress and how to reduce stress and how to relax. I tell you what, it's a huge, huge topic. And when it comes to health, I tell you what, it can have a lot of negative, nasty impact on your overall health. And that is if you don't deal with stress and learn how to relax and learn how to take the edge off. You're talking about and how to reduce stress and how to relax. I tell you what, it's a huge, huge topic. And when it comes to health, I tell you what, it can have a lot of negative, nasty impact on your overall health. And that is if you don't deal with stress and learn how to relax and learn how to take the edge off. You're talking about long-term some real damage that can occur that you're not going to like. So I want to go through and talk about 6 methods to reduce stress and add to your relaxation. And I tell you what, I know a little bit about this, okay? Because as a retail pharmacist in a chain drugstore, a very high volume, I experience stress every single day. And the older I get, the harder it is. So the more I have to be mindful of how to deal with it in a positive way to reduce it. It's still there. And whatever you do, I'm sure you have stressors that you have to deal with, and I'm just going to encourage you to find some methods to deal with them. So I just want to go through 6. I hope they help. And I'm going to go off script quite a bit because sometimes I do better when I do. But number 1, exercise your body. I can't say enough about, I think, overall the best thing I do to control my stress from work, to at least deal with my stress, is to exercise. And I don't do the 150 minutes that they recommend for the American Heart Association. That wasn't cutting it for me. In some of my videos I talked about that's a starting point. For me, I got to do 300. Now, that's me. You might not need that much. But for me, I needed to because the stress was so bad that it was affecting my sleep, it's affecting my mood, my attitude, my relationships. So I said, I'm going to pound it and burn off some of this. And there's a lot to be said when you build up cortisol. There's a lot, and all these catecholamines, the best way to do it is with exercise. So can't say enough about it. I think if you make that one switch, you're going to see your stress be reduced, and not so much maybe the stress. I think if you make that one switch, you're going to see your stress be reduced, and not so much maybe the stress itself, but the way it affects you. So hope that first one helps. Number 2, take a break and get outdoors. This one for me, I think, is the key. When I'm a day off, I have to get outdoors and do something, whether it's hiking, walking, doing something, but outdoors. And the weather's getting warmer here finally in Las Vegas in April. So we got the pool, and getting outdoors in the sunshine makes a huge difference, because when you're inside all day underneath those lights, not good. But also when you're inside, there's something about cortisol levels and stuff that's released. Neurotransmitter serotonin's released when you get outdoors. And it really helps take it down a notch or two. I don't know what it is about it. Especially for me, it's hiking. But just being outdoors. So I can't say enough about that. And I think I worry about it as a society. We're spending more and more time indoors. We don't get to see the sunrise like they used to when there was an agricultural industry in this country, where on the farms they'd see the sun rise in the morning and the sun set, and that really can have a big impact on your overall well-being. I know that sounds crazy, but it's true. So getting outdoors is so important, and I love the desert. You got to find your happy place. My happy place is the desert right now. Any mountain desert settings that I go to, I absolutely love it. But there's wooded areas people like. I used to love going out on the boat, my wife and I. That's also very good. So here's the next one, number 3. Find a hobby, or get a hobby, or find a passion. Find something that when you're not working that you're really jazzed about, that you enjoy doing. And in my case, it's content creation. I kind of like that. I know I'm kind of crazy, but it gets me out of the game of work and into my own creation. But some people, they have all kinds of things they like to do. They like painting, cooking, playing with their dog, playing guitar, reading a good book. Find a hobby that you really enjoy, because it'll take your mind when you're at work to a place look, I can't wait till when I get out of here I can do this. Or this stress today is crazy, but I'm looking forward to this. So having something to look forward to That's number 3, a passion or a hobby. Number 4, connect with people. I think sometimes when you get into stress, you start to think and you become kind of like focused inward to what it's doing and how it's affecting you, and the negative thinking associated with stress. And if you connect with people, they can help you sort out some of those emotions. Not necessarily complaining to them, but just talking with them, sharing with them, seeking some support from them, maybe about your day. And I have to say, connecting with people might include, I know it sounds crazy, but you may have to include some professionals if your stress is getting to a point where it's really having a major impact, and having some thoughts that maybe are creeping in that you need to deal with. And they may have to recommend medication. Now, as a pharmacist, sometimes that's the only way to go based on the neurotransmitters and based on maybe some things with your genetics, where you have an abundance of neurotransmitter imbalance, and maybe in the cards. But you want to try to counter those as much as you can with other things first, but then a healthcare professional might be able to sort that out if you need to go there. Now, here's number 5. Breathe in, breathe out. It works sometimes. My team criticizes me because I take deep breaths and I exhale, and that really seems to help. I hate to say it, but in my case, I sometimes just need to breathe. Does that sound crazy? I think you probably have the same thing sometimes. But another thing people talk about is mindfulness, and that's something where you're actually in the moment and you're present in the moment and you're really in tune. And that's, you get into a quiet place, sitting and just reflecting, being quiet, breathing, aware of everything at that moment and not thinking about the past and future. There's a whole science behind this, and some of the Eastern type religions and Eastern things out there for relaxation and for meditation include that. There's also some Christian perspective. I know a holy hour in front of the Blessed Sacrament for a lot of Christians, myself included, is a place you can practice mindfulness. But mindfulness is really something where you're present in the moment, and sometimes I think when you have a stressful job, that's important. Number 6, that we're going to land this plane and answer this last one with something I really like. It's called rewarding yourself or treating yourself. And I tell you what, when it comes to stress, if you're working a long, stressful week, if you got something in mind that you're going to reward yourself with when you're done with your week, it keeps you going. And in my case, I really live for those days, and I have a whole bunch of things planned. And sometimes they cost money. Sometimes there's a show down on the Strip. There's some great Broadway shows coming to town now. There's some great Cirque du Soleil. There's a lot of great shows coming to town that we can go see, or a concert that's available to us. But there's also some other simple things that we can do. We might say, hey, we're going to take a little road trip this weekend and go on a beautiful hike in one of the most glorious parks around, which is only sometimes 2 or 3 hours away. Or we find our local haunts to go to, and maybe it's going to be a pool day. But we're going to find something to relax yourself with. Maybe it's going out to dinner. We're going to have something like that. And also rewarding yourself might be self-care. That might be something like a massage, a spa day. Sometimes the ladies like that. I go with my wife sometimes, get a pedicure. That's a reward. Well, how about this? Going to the gun range. You say, is that relaxation? Well, if it's something you like to do, guess what? And if it's a reward, yeah, it is. So it all comes down to that. So I tell you what, I can't speak enough about really dialing these 6 tips for you, because all I can speak to is what they did for me. Some or all of these are going to help you. And if it's just 2 of them, that's going to make a big difference in your stress level. It's so worth it. And in my case, I had to incorporate pretty much all of these. And the older I get, the stress isn't going away from my work until I leave there in a few years. Then maybe it'll come down. But in the meantime, I got to find a way to counter it. So I hope that information helps. And as always, if you want more, come to our blog on Rxhealthyhabits.com. We have these bullet points all laid out for you with some references and some other videos that can really help you. So until next video podcast, stay healthy and get stronger and get rid of, or at least learn how to handle your stress.